My journey, my story about Debi, who am I? Well, in some ways, I feel like my journey begins when I was 51 and I had to have a total hip replacement. Because everything that led up to that point of me having to have that surgery is what put me on the path that I'm on now and today, and how and why I show up in the way that I do. I'm a certified yoga therapist and a certified health coach because I wanted to heal myself. Because in my 40s, I had an injury in my hip that stopped me living the life I was living. I used to play tennis 4 or 5 days a week. I ran 4 days a week. I spun at the gym. I was very into being fit and strong. Of course, I burned the candle at both ends. So from a stress perspective, I see now how I was burning myself out. At the time, I didn't see that. I would use wine or alcohol at night to calm myself down. My kids were little at this time, and I used to have a motto. You know that motto, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade? Well, my motto was, when life gives you kids, make margaritas. And I did often. And so at night I would use the alcohol to calm down, and in the morning I would use the coffee to have energy. And my hormones started to shift because I was coming close to the 50-year-old mark, and that was happening. So I had the physical injury in my hip. I had the hormonal breakdown from the process of aging, which is what happens. And then my physical injury got the better of me. So when it got so bad, when the wear and tear in my hip joint was so bad, I had a surgery. And that surgery collapsed my joint because the doctor took off bone at the top of my leg bone and in my pelvis. And within 4 months, I completely collapsed, which means bone on bone, weight-bearing joint, the part of you that moves you around. So movement became really challenging. I gained 30 pounds and I was going through menopause. So I had that on top of everything else. That is what put me on the track or on the path of becoming a health coach. And the health coaching program I chose is science-based, which is something that's kind of one of my skills is really, I always got A's in my science classes. So this program that I joined was about the biochemistry and the physiology of the body. So we ran functional labs. I ran functional labs on me to see, where are my hormones? What's happening? We did a stool culture. What's happening in my gut? And do I have leaky gut? And do I have any parasites or bacterias? And I found a lot of stuff that I then actually could put together a protocol to overcome those hurdles. At the same time, I had my hip replacement, so I was putting myself back together physically, putting myself back together biochemically and physiologically, and I was studying yoga therapy because yoga therapy is a longer certification process. It's 1,000 hours, and in that program, I study with doctors and nurses and physical therapists and chiropractors and psychiatrists and psychologists and other yoga therapists and Ayurvedic doctors and a whole bunch of amazing people, and learned so much about the body so I could keep myself happy and healthy and safe. And then I was also teaching yoga at a hospital to the 55 plus crowd. And there were a lot of issues in people's tissues, a lot of conditions that I'd never heard of: spinal stenosis, spondylolisthesis, hip replacement, knee replacement, all of these things. And of course, then also metabolic conditions, heart disease, high blood pressure, cancer, diabetes. So my yoga therapy training, my health coach training, in the years that I've been practicing has just really created this depth of knowledge in me that helps me show up as a yoga therapist, as a health coach, and for those who I work with. What has happened is that I have really become an expert in bone health, and in large part because I understand that when the bones are not strong, are broken and don't work, which is what was happening for me, that it's very hard to live a full active life. And most 50-year-olds don't end up at that place. I feel like I have this foresight because I ended up there. And there's an intelligence that comes into your mind of what's possible when you have issues in your tissues So I have this inner awareness of what's appropriate and not for bodies that have conditions in them, because I had that degenerative condition and that injury. And that's how I show up when I work with people. That's how I show up when I teach classes, when I teach my online programs, when I work with people privately, is I really try to understand that feeling of fear, of broken, of not functional, and empower those I work with to realize you can. I mean, I've lost 30 pounds since my hip replacement. I've traveled to Bali and India and Thailand and Scotland and Mexico, and I live a big, full life now. And you know what? I was only halfway done with my life, halfway through my life. So I wasn't willing to quit or to give up. And I don't want you to either. That's why I'm here. I want you to understand it is possible. You can get stronger and healthy and overcome whatever issues you have. Nothing is not fixable. Everything is fixable. Everything is fixable, because this body is miraculous, and the potential to heal exists in all of us. We need to get out of the way. We need to stop what is blocking it. We need to give it what it needs, and we need to sit back and allow that to happen. I would love to work with you, to share with you how you can fix yourself, heal yourself, be able to move, to be happy to live, and to get back really in the game of life. And I'm so glad that I'm back in that game of life. And I feel like that's why I'm here now. And that's why I had this journey, is to be this yoga therapist and this health coach, to be there for people and help guide them back onto the path of life so they could skip, cartwheel, sing, blow bubbles, whatever it is. That's why I'm here, and I would love to meet you, to work with you, and to empower you. I hope to see you in something soon. Thank you.